here this morning with Wes Stevenson, world champion bareback rider. Real treat, Wes, to have an opportunity to visit with you for a little bit this morning. And I know all the kids out there watching the show this morning and their parents crazy about rodeo, and they're not having an opportunity to go to rodeo and to go to the National Western this year, so we thought we'd just entertain them a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about how you got started in rodeo.
I started off, my dad rode bucking horses, rode bulls, and he came from nothing and grew up in Kaufman, Texas, where I was born and raised as well. Had raised himself, and he got into rodeo just being around some friends, and he real quick decided to try to raise a family, and he kind of tried to keep me away from it. I guess he knew how hard it was on his body and stuff like that. And as I started getting just a little bit older, I watched this old Western movie, and my mom kind of snuck in there, and she was like, "Your dad's on there riding." And Dad, when he was younger, he was rode bulls and bareback horses, and I know J.W. Coop, and there's another one in there, and I watched it and I saw my dad, and I thought, man, that's cool. Looked really fun, you know. And so we had livestock, we had cows and horses, and I was trying to swing my legs around everything I could and ride it. You know, my sister had a show lamb, and I kept getting my butt whooped for riding her show lamb, and so Dad finally bought me one of my own, so I had one to ride and would quit riding her show lambs, and it just progressed from that. I enjoyed the camaraderie, the friendship, the ride that it takes me on, the competitiveness. I've always been really competitive, and it was me against the bucking horse is what I loved so much. It wasn't me against the cowboys, but it took everything I could. I tried. Perfection is what I shot for, but perfection was unattainable. And so there was every single time I got on a bucking horse, it was trying to better myself and be better. And I loved that ride that it took me on in that try.
Tell me a little bit about the bucking horses and the stock that you come to National Finals Rodeo and you've got the best bucking horses. And what distinguishes a great bucking horse?
I raise bucking horses now, and so I've progressed, retired from riding bucking horses. I'm actually a full-time dad. That's what I do on the side. After that, I raise bucking horses, and it is a patient man's game. Somewhere along the way, my dad prayed for me to have patience, and that I think this is God's way to teach me patience, the best way in a long term. Raising bucking horses, by the time all these bucking horses now are bred to buck. That means their mom bucked, their dad bucked, and they have a special place. And so we take them out the ranch, we have a baby, they're born, and it's not until they're about 5 years old before we actually see if they want to be a bucking horse or not. And the thing that you can ruin a bucking horse, if you ever hurt them, if they get hurt or something happens, they'll quit bucking. And so we've got to be very diligent and safe when we're handling these bucking horses to make sure and take care of them, that nothing bad happens to them, because if they have a bad experience, they won't buck again. They do it to them, it's just fun. They enjoy doing it. And they wouldn't have another place in this world because they do not like being a person riding them. And so they jump up in there and they like throwing a guy off. and their personality, it's so fun. They look really rank and everything. You go out in the pasture, and I've got pictures of my daughter from the time she was a little bitty going out in the pasture with me and feeding the horses. And they seem like wild, crazy, mean bucking horses, and they've got their head down, licking on her hair and stuff like that, and they're, to me, they're family, and it's fun business.
Bucking is inbred in them, but don't you have to do something when they come out of the chute, they're bucking? Don't you have to do something to get them to get started, or they just do it naturally?
They do it naturally. They've either got it or they don't. And you cannot teach a horse to buck. It is something that is completely, preposterous to think that I am a guy that's 150 pounds and I can make a 1,500-pound bucking horse buck. He's going to do what he wants to do when he wants to do it.
He's going to go where he wants to go.
Yes, sir. And so riding a bucking horse is out of control completely. It's like you being from Colorado, being on the slope, and you go to a double black diamond and you just point your skis straight down the hill and boom, 9-0, and you just try to stay with it and stay on your feet. You know what I mean?
Tell me a little bit about judging. I mean, you've got, 4 judges, 4 judges at a rodeo?
Here at, depending on the rodeo, some places you'll have 2 and some places you'll have 4. And the judges they mark half the score for the horse and half the score for the rider. And so the guys riding bucking horses, you want to get on something that really bucks and is hard to ride, the better your score. And you win first, depending on how good a horse you get on.
And it's kind of like by lot. I mean, you don't say, I'm going to ride that horse. They tell you what horse you're going to ride.
You do not have a choice. And there are a lot of guys on a higher end level when you're talking about Denver and the National Western and things of that nature. You'll see from young horses that have only had a few outs and from horses that have been to the national finals that guys know really well. And so the guys going there, they may draw a horse that they know out
that they've had
very well
before and
yes,
know what he's going to do and how he or she, a lot of mares,
yes, sir.
bucking horses.
Yes, sir. Some of the best ones most of the best ones are mares, actually.
So the judges are judging the rider, the cowboy, on how he spurs the horse, and how's that? What is he looking? What is the judge looking for to give you a high? What are you doing to give a high score?
They want the spurring action and everything is actually for bareback riding is kind of rolling over the point of the shoulders all the way up to the neck and moving your feet in that motion, and you're more dancing with them as they go up. The feet come up, and then you've got to put your feet down. The whole purpose in that is actually to help give the horse a better opportunity to buck you off. And that doesn't make them buck. It's more moving and dancing with them. If a guy just sits here and holds on, he's not controlling the ride as much and being ahead of the horse. And so the spurring action, what that shows the judges is that you were actually in more control of the ride and you're dancing with the horse. And so the harder the horse bucks, and then you jump out there and you do it with some style and dancing with them, moving your feet with them, that shows control. They don't like to see the guys flop their upper body flopping all over the place. And so there's half the score. Let's say you've got 0 to 50 points you can mark the horse, and 0 to 50 points you can mark the rider. The more difficult the horse is to ride, the higher they mark him. And if you're able to dance with that horse in that motion, the higher your score is.
Well, I know that it's an event, bareback riding, that fans really enjoy and respond to a great ride, and I think that I think as we watch bareback riding as a fan, you really appreciate I think you can tell when somebody's had a really good ride.
Yes, sir.
And when the scores come out, of course, it's got to be a great reward for a lot of hard work.
Yes, sir. And for me, from the time I was a kid, I really thought, of course, as all little kids, I thought bull riding was really cool. And I remember like it was yesterday when I fell in love with bareback riding. I was about in 6th grade and snuck behind the bucking chutes. Wasn't supposed to be back there, but I did. And I remember watching some of the horses buck and some of the guys, and we're dancing with them. And I thought, man, that's cool. Okay. And so I got a little bit older and was riding bulls, and I wanted to win the all-around. And so I got on some bareback horses. And I knew from the first time I got on a bucking horse, it was completely out of control, and it was the hardest thing. I'm a sore loser, and it was against myself. I was not successful at all, and I just had that attitude that I'm going to figure out how to do this. I'm going to be, and okay, I'm going to go get on another one. And every single horse I got on, I didn't know if it was my last one, but I kept trying to get better and trying to figure out how to do it. I don't know if I ever figured out completely how to do it perfectly.
No, I don't think any of us ever figure it out. But, you know, I think that a great message for our listeners this morning is that it's really a lot of hard work and dedication, and it pays off. I mean, you can't just go out there and get on a bucking horse. I mean, you got to work at it. How many years did you ride?
About 20 years, and that's I rode bucking horse for about 20 years. Now you're talking about that try and that as I came along, the first time I was qualifying for the national finals was in 2000, and it was a turn of the guards. There was a lot of the Marvin Garretts and Larry Sandvik's, all that whole crew, and the older guys that I always looked up to, and I was competing right along beside my heroes, and I put so much effort, so much try. If I did good, I would throw my hands up, had celebration. I would get mad at myself and kick rocks and storm off if I didn't. And it wasn't that I was mad that or happy that I won money or didn't. I put so much effort, so much try into it. You know, if I didn't do good, I was, golly, Wes, you know, I was mad at myself. And if I did good, I was appreciated because I knew I put so much effort, so much work into it. And
well, I think that's a great message that whatever you decide to do in life, you got to work at it if you want to do it really well.
Yes, sir. And it's so satisfying, even with your business or whatever. If you're gonna play soccer, if you're gonna flip burgers, be the best at it, give it your all, and that's when you really get that satisfaction. And it's not at the end of the road when you win first or something of that nature, when they give you a trophy. That's not the satisfaction to me. The satisfaction is running that race, and it's in the journey, the effort that it takes to get somewhere to be really successful. That's really the enjoyable part, you know. And that's the part you look forward to, is being right in the middle of it and learning how to do something and giving everything you got.
Wes Stevenson, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
I hope everybody's enjoyed the opportunity to know a little bit more intimately what this bareback riding is all about.
Thank you.